I don't think so. What? How you doing, brother? What's up, Mag?
What's good, brother? How's it going?
Good, man. How's your week going?
Good. I got a question for you in regards to a follow-ups.
Go for it. What's up, man?
I've been doing a lot of follow-ups and shit. And I received the follow-up of this guy. This guy was a pre-foreclosure, right? That I called. And
Okay.
do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. This guy's a pre-foreclosure that I called, and basically, he's just when I called him, it was a cold call, and then I went about, yeah, my boss about the letter and stuff. And then it's like, oh no, I'm thinking about selling, but I never received anything. And then I was like, yeah, I mean, look, if but how do you know I'm selling? And I'm like, hey, listen, I don't know, man, and I'm just doing a follow-up. But if God put me your way, who am I to say no, right?
Yeah, perfect. That's the
So
way I would handle it. Yeah.
yeah, so basically, did that, and then I kept following up, text message, mighty text, mighty text. And then yesterday, a message sent out, and then he calls me back. And then he calls me, yeah, actually, I talked to him before. And then he's like, yeah, he was a little bit apprehensive because, I think somebody already offered him 112 for the property, right? And he's like, no, I'm not gonna let you guys steal my money and stuff. So yesterday, the mighty text went out, and then he calls back, and then he calls me. I answer the phone. I'm like, yeah. So, and then he's like, yeah, man, you're telling me that you want to buy my house. So how much? Okay. So I asked him the question. So tell me a little bit more. Any problems with the property? And I knew that he was in pre-foreclosure. He doesn't want to tell me, right? I don't know. I think because they don't want to expose this stuff. But then and then I asked him, okay, so no problems with the property, and do you any repairs needed? He said, just 20,000. And I'm like, okay. Do you do you and then he's telling me that he's gonna put it with a realtor. I'm like, yeah, you should put it with a realtor, you know. You just gotta fix everything and stuff, but a realtor can help you too. I mean, in my case, if you need cash fast, you know, I can get you there. And then I was like, and then he came to me and he's like, yeah, you know, but you guys want to make money on top of me. I'm like, man, so everybody's gonna make money here, you know. But do you care about how much money? Do you care how much money am I
I
gonna
would have
make,
told
or you
them
care?
when they told you that well, you guys want to make money off of me. I was like, well, how do you mean, ma'am? Or how do you mean,
Mm,
sir? And then they say, well, yeah, you want to make money. I'm like, yeah, again, that's the way that again, we get to keep the lights on. Again, I can't,
yeah,
we're not in the business of buying a property and losing money. Again, I don't think I can buy too many properties like that and still keep a business.
yeah.
Don't you think that's fair? And then put it back on them so you can eliminate. Okay, but go ahead.
So I did a little bit different, right? But then before the conversation went, he told me about he's behind, right? And then he's telling me, yeah. So because I asked him, is the mortgage payments everything good? He's like, yeah, everything is good. It's just association fees that it's a little bit behind. And then he told me that it's like 6,000, right? $6,000. And I was like, okay. And then he came with the conversation, and then I was like, "Yeah, man. Look, do you care about how much am I gonna make, or do you care about how much am I gonna solve your problem?" So I put him on the spot, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, okay." And then he calmed down a little bit, and then he calmed down a little bit, and then I was be able to have a conversation with him um, about the property. Right. The thing is, the money that he wants, it doesn't make sense, right? Obviously, because I think he wants 225 or something. But then on equity, I saw it on PropStream is about 170, and the and there's some repairs obviously. So, but then I asked him, hey, listen, let's do this. Why don't you send me some pictures, and then I can actually take a look at it and give you the exact number. And then he's like, okay, I'll do that. But then I thought to myself, I don't know if I should go to this guy's house because since he's not serious about it, what do you think should I do? Should I just go there or just ask him for pictures?
Well, first you want to make sure that the price makes sense before you do any. Again, one of the things that I've heard earlier today from another investor that you could tell him is like, are you trying to make me pay more for a property that I should have? And then
Mm,
put it back on them. What do you think? It's 225. Is that the like a good average price, or that's an over ARV price, or that's above average cash price?
I think it's above.
Okay, then yeah, you want so let me see if I'm reviewing here the area, ma'am. Are you trying to make me pay more than I should have for this property?
Mhm.
And then put them back on them? Like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, because I have like 7 systems that check values for your area and for other areas, right? Because again, we're in the business of buying properties. Again, I don't see nowhere where I think you're about 30 to 50K over what I should pay for this property. Again, I just want to make sure that again we're in the same page and that you're not trying to pull a fast on me.
Yeah.
Again, that usually those conversations they usually don't have those type of conversations. They usually don't get questioned like that. But again, that's where the pattern interrupt comes in,
Yeah.
where you basically try to put it back on them. The reason why how I heard this is like when somebody lowballs you, like they throw the objection, are you trying to lowball me? And I was like, no, I'm just trying to give you the fair value. I think Quentin said that. I'm trying to give you the fair value for the market property. Again, are you trying to highball me? You trying to make me pay more than I should for this property
Mm.
on its current condition? And that's what you throw on them. Again, sometimes you gotta have that Jesus talk with them as
No,
far
yeah.
as the property values. Again, like, man, just like, let's say, man, if it was worth 225, again, it's not worth 225 for cash, and get that out of your mindset. Nobody's going to pay cash for something retail. Again, you wouldn't pay cash for a car that you can get on a discount. Again, I'm pretty sure you're a smart person. But if you were to pay 225 for something with the bank, again, do you know what it takes to sell a property nowadays? Again, is sellers have all, they incur all the costs, again, from commissions, from closings, from inspections, from appraisals, from repairs, etc. You're losing 20% on average. So if you do sell it for 225, you're losing around what is it, like 10, 20, like $25,000, $30,000 off the bat. That's if everything's perfect and it goes perfect. I think the putting them on the spot, it's a thing that's gonna help you rebuttaling them like that. Are you trying to make me pay for more for a property than I should? Because again, I'm trying to make sure that you're honest with me.
I think right. I think the challenge that I have is just how to find the ARV and repairs, right? Because I haven't seen the property, so I'm just trying to get like some.
For repairs, you always assume, again, you ask the seller, again, you say, well, Mr. Again, I don't know the property, I've never been there. I'm just trusting that you're giving me your fair, honest price, your fair, honest opinion. Do the 1 to 10, perfect being 1, 10 being the worst, and look at the property areas. Again, in my area, a 10 is a full rehab. You trying spending around $25 to $35 per square foot. That's in my area. You know what I mean? So if it's a full rehab, and if it's 1,000 square feet in my area, you're probably spending from 35 to 40,000 to flip it. You know what I mean? That's where knowing your market comes in. You need to know exactly what it will cost in your area to do a cosmetic flip, and a full flip. You know what I mean? Where you got everything.
Yeah.
So if usually most, again, and that's where the leverage comes in, because most sellers won't tell you that it's a 10 as far as that it's a worse condition. Again, think of a 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. So they won't tell you, oh, it's a 1. They'll tell you it's like a 7. So then you make sure that if it's a 7, you're looking at the cosmetic area. So I'm thinking $10 per square foot. If it's $1,000, 1,000 square feet, it's like around $10,000 in repairs, just cosmetic paint, carpets to get it back on retail. And then you go from there. So if again, also you need to know, when you say you don't know the ARV, what do you mean? Like, well, you don't know the ARV? Again, that's something that should be the primal thing to know, is like, what are properties being worth in that area? And you can, again, like I told you, I use Zillow. I don't use anything else. I use Zillow. Zillow helps me, what's it called? Give you the ARV quickly. Again, it's a rough estimate ARV. Again, you're leveraging other people's knowledge.
So you mean the Zillow's estimate, or?
Yeah, around there. Yeah, Zillow's estimate. Okay. Like if you go to Zillow, it tells you what are the comparables, what's sold in those areas.
Oh, no, yeah, I saw that. You know, like it's about 280, 300.
So that means a fully rehab. If it did sell for 380, you're assuming that it's a fully rehab property worth 380. Then from there you take out the 20% for the what's it called, for the repairs. So then you're at 380 for the closing cost. So you times 0.80, you're at 304. The person will net 304 if it does sell it for 380. And then you go from there. If it's if it's I'm assuming if this is a cookie cutter, 1,000 square foot home, and in your area for a cosmetic flip, it's around $15 per square foot. So you say, oh yeah, it's probably like a 8. Oh, so just paint and carpet, like, yeah, so then you know what? If it's 1,000 square foot home at $15 per square feet, that's 15 to 20K in repairs. So you take out the 15 to 20, so it's 304 what they would net, minus the 20K for repairs as a cosmetic, then you're at 284. So if you buy at 284, you won't make any money. You just will basically, you'll basically break even if you buy at 284. So then you tell, okay, well, if I do sell it, if your house is worth 380, man, once it's fully rehabbed, you pay, or I'm gonna pay once we sell it to a bank with a person that has good credit, we're gonna be netting 304 in our pockets with all the closing costs, inspections, reports, repairs, etc. So then either you're netting 304 or I'm netting 304. Now you're saying that it's like a 7, so it needs like 20K in even though it's a real cosmetic, but it's a big house, it's a nice house, painting carpets, that's gonna take us 20K. So from the 304, you take out 20K, that's 284. So either I pay the 20K to put it back to and with paint and carpet to make it worth the 380, or you put the 20K. So then we are at 284 net. That means that's how much money will come out of pocket, or what actually net in our pockets. But for me, I cannot pay 284 and make 284. I'll break even. I can't make money like that. I'd rather go into another investment. So I had to have again, a gauge for me. Again, usually we want to be from 10 to 15% of net profits. So again, you take away the 20% profit from this. So then you multiply that by 0.80. So you need to be at 227. That's how you basically break it down to them. Now, if the cosmetic is not a cosmetic flip, he says like a 3. Also, it needs new carpets, new flooring, new cabinets. So then let's say it's in your area, it's $45 per square foot to do a full rehab. So times 1,000 square feet, that's 50K. So then you go from 284 that was gonna be netting, the 304 that you were gonna be netting, minus the 50K, you're looking at netting 254. And then from there, you take out your 20% profit times 0.80. So now you're at 203. So you need to buy it at 203 to make sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then once you are on that price range, then you decide to go. And then that's when you catch the sellers in the lie saying, oh, well, actually, ma'am, this is not a cosmetic. I don't think anything cosmetic is here. This is not paint and carpet. This is paint, carpet, plumbing, and electrical. So then you're already at the 224 range. Once you go see it, it's no longer a cosmetic. So then from 224, you're gonna get a discount even further. The same thing with it's like a 4, and so you assume it's a full rehab, so you kind of make sure that it's around the full rehab price range at the 204 instead of the 224. And then when you go, it's like, well, actually, it's not a 4, it's like a 2, ma'am. So then you go from the 204, you bring it down to like the 180, the 170 range. But before, you need to make sure you have this conversation with the owner like this. Okay, so based on what you're telling me, what do you think is if you were to fix this property, what do you think it's worth? 300. Perfect. Okay. So you know more or less what it takes to sell a property in this current in the current market right now. Like you're paying 6% commissions, you're paying 3 or 4 in closing, you're paying 1 or 2 in repairs, you're paying 1 or 2 in holding costs. So you're losing around 15 to 20%. So even though if you sell it to me or to anybody else, if you sell it to anybody else aside from me, you're gonna be probably netting like around 225 because you're losing the other percent in just transactional cost. So then from there you literally chop it down. Well, what if the main objection they're gonna tell you, well, I'm not gonna sell it with an agent. Oh, you're not, but the buyer has an agent. And the buyer is either the buyer's agent is either gonna take the whole 6%, or it's gonna split it with another agent if you have an agent. But the 6% is gonna get paid no matter what, and the seller pays it. Again, when you sell it to an investor, again, we buy it without a commission, but we want to make sure we get it at the right price because we know we got to pay the commission on the back end. Right. So this is where you have to have this conversation like this. Make sure you get the price from them. And then once, well, it's worth this. Okay, I'm going to net this. Okay, what's the condition is this? Okay, so what do you think is a fair cash price? Again, I'm pretty sure you're being honest with me, and I'm pretty sure you don't want me to pay more than I should for a property, right? Is that because I don't want to go to all the business. I don't see that you're that kind of person. And then you ask them, okay, I can sell it for 200. Okay, and then okay, well, you know the 200K range works. I have openings right now at 3 p.m. When can I meet you to look at this property? Does 3 work or maybe 5? And then once you go, you already have a number in mind that makes sense before you do anything. But again, this is where.
How can I do that remote instead of me going there?
Pictures. Well, man, right now with COVID, it's been crazy. We can do 2 things. Again, I can definitely hire somebody to go take some pictures so I can physically put eyes on it before we make the final agreement as far as the purchase price. Or you can make it easier. Again, right now, everybody's busy with pictures because of the COVID situation. You can just snap like 10, 20 pictures of the property, send them over to my email or to my text. Let me see them. And then once I see them, then I can make an agreement on paper right now and send it to you over email. And then once we both agree, then I'll pay my inspector the $600 to go see the property. Is that what, can you do that before? Like, well, no, we can't, because we can't just pay $600 without an agreement. Again, our company needs to make sure that we have something solid there. We are going to buy this property if everything checks out before we actually write the check. I can tell them we actually, before we write the check to the inspector, to go there and do that inspection. Oh, but I thought you're gonna buy it as is. Oh yeah, we're gonna buy it as is, but again, we trust you. What you're telling us, but we still gotta verify that there's nothing that maybe we overlooked, like foundation, ACs that might kill the deal if we buy it just sight unseen. That's how I would handle the
Right.
virtual. The easiest
Thank
way
you,
is that, well, I can do two things. I can schedule one of my photographers, photographers from the local area to do that. That's gonna cost me like $200. Or if you want to make it right now, just if you have a smartphone, what phone do you have, man? An Android or an Apple? Just snap like 20 pictures, send them over, and like that we can basically pinpoint, and we can actually get something on paper today. I can send it to my underwriters and give you an approval for a purchase price right now. If you can send me the picture within the next 20 minutes. And
Yeah,
that'll
that's
be
exactly what I needed.
that'll be like at the 202 range, 202, 203 range, even 210. And then once we do the actual inspection, then that's where if you want to wholesale an investor, oh, I want to buy it at 200, then you tell them, well, actually after the inspection report, again, it shows that this again, we overlooked it. We gotta do two things: either we cancel this contract or we get a discount. Again, it's telling me that it's probably 40K over what we can pay. Again, we're not asking for the whole 40K, but what can you do for us? Remember, the investor wants to be at 200, you're at 204. So if you ask for 40, if you land anything in between, you're making money.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically how I would handle that conversation. But again, you gotta know your ARVs. You gotta know, because again, in my area, 25, 35K for a full rehab still makes sense per square foot. In some areas, it's 50 to 60K, $50 to $60 per square foot to a full rehab, because you need to have higher end, what's it called? Higher end items in that property.
Gotcha. What if it says, oh, but you took pictures already, and now you're telling me that it needs to go, lower? I thought we had a price.
Well, yeah, like I was telling you, ma'am, we do basically we're considering that you're gonna be as honest as possible with the inspection. Again, there's things that maybe you won't know and we don't know, as like underflooring, like inspection for the foundation, for termites. And once that came back, it shows that I can show the report if you want to, and the pictures. It shows that, again, you didn't mention this, you didn't mention this, you didn't mention this, you didn't mention this. You just said it was going to be paint and carpet, and actually it's a broken faucet, it's a broken tile, it's a broken cabinet, it's a broken restroom faucet, it's a messed up electrical. And based with that in mind, again, if you would have told us that up front, I would have definitely start adding up, and my offer would have considered that into it. But since you didn't mention it, the inspection actually came up with that. Now we can do two things: either we can definitely void the agreement, again, we apologize for that, or we can definitely get something where we can still buy your house, but we have to adjust to the price to basically match the inspection report that we came out. And you saw the inspector, you saw the pictures, so it's not like we're making it up. So what do you say, man?
Gotcha. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, so definitely, man. Yeah, just that's the way to do it, man. I have this video. Let me see if I can. Let me stop the share. Put it over here. So what happened to that New Jersey deal, man? Where are we at with that one?
It's on the works. It's on the works.
When you say that, what does that mean?
I have a buyer checking it out. So I'm still working with them. And I'll keep you posted next week, because I'm gonna have more information. He's gonna check it out today and tomorrow, and I'll keep you posted. I also have to leave like around 1:30, so I'm not gonna have time.
What's I gonna tell you? what do you think as far as, did you get people in there, or the investors, the realtors in there again?
Yeah, I got them in there. There's one guy that made an offer that makes sense. And I have one tomorrow. And then that's it. And then if the one tomorrow don't work, I'm just gonna stick with this guy.
Okay, make sure you lock it up and close it, man. Again, that's close enough, but again, sometimes you just gotta pull the trigger because you don't want to be going back and forth, and then don't close on anything.
You're right. You're right.
You know what I mean? So again, this is one of the videos that I see towards a breakdown of a call. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Can you hear it?
Who is that?
Did you hear it?
No. Who's that? Who's that guy?
Let me know if you hear it. Can you hear it?
No, nothing.
Okay, hold on. Let me share the audio. How do we do this? Last time. I think that's right. Can you hear it? Can you hear, Mac?
No, still nothing. Did you share the audio?
How do I share? I'm trying to figure out how to share the audio.
You go to share content, and then there's a second tab that says share audio.
Right. That's how it's.
Best number to call you back on?
Can you hear it?
Yes, ma'am.
I hear.
Thank you,
now.
Rashawn. And well, Rashawn, thank you for calling us to
So
buy
this
your
is one of the old school scripts that I've used. It's just a breakdown of how conversate with the seller.
house before we can determine how much we can buy your
So
house
basically, it's
for.
just breaking down like it's this the initial conversation, and this is where you have the steps of how to negotiate and how to basically do it virtual.
We just need to verify that the information we have about your house is correct, and also go through the process to discover the details about your specific plans to sell it. Is that okay?
Okay.
Fantastic. So let's get started then, yes?
Mhm.
And you did call us because you have a house you're hoping to sell, yes?
Yes.
That's fantastic. We're definitely looking for another house to buy right now, and your house sounds like the kind we're looking for, too. And the property is not currently listed with a real estate broker, correct?
Correct.
And the address of the house that you're hoping to sell is 30.
So again, the first thing, okay, yeah, you definitely have a house for sale. Yes, perfect. Okay, we're definitely looking to buy more properties. Okay, and this house is not listed with an agent. Perfect. Okay, so what's the address?
4 Street?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that's in Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for your help with that. Now, you know, Rashawn, no one knows more about your house than you do, and we buy houses all over the country. So we are actually going to buy your house without ever going out to physically see the house. Once we agree to buy the house and you agree to sell us the house, we will send our local professionals out to determine the exact condition and repair costs the house may need.
Okay.
So in the meantime, we would hope that you would be fair and honest regarding the condition of the house so that we don't move forward with an agreement to purchase your house that will later have to change or cancel because of missing information. Does that make sense?
So you see, that's where you had your questions. Okay, again, nobody knows more about the property than you do, ma'am. Again, we will definitely make sure and want you guys to be fair, as fair as honest as you can be. Again, so we can make it go into an agreement before we send our professionals out there. Again, when you say the word professionals, that means they're paid, and then she agrees to it. You know what I mean? So then you start asking for the questions for the property condition.
Right. So let me ask you. It looked like when you spoke to Alex, you said that we would need to assume about $7,000 in total repair costs and work or upgrades. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that's no problem, Rashawn. We buy houses in any condition.
Okay, so 7,000. You said that you asked him, well, it's a 1 to 10, or it's probably like a 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. It's probably like a 6. Okay, so how much would it take to take it from the 6 to a 10? Like around. Is it? Well, I don't really know. I'm not a contractor. What's it like? 1 to 5,000, or 5 to 10,000, or 10 to 15,000? Oh, I think 1 to 5. Okay, perfect. And then that's when you bring it back to her. Okay, oh, so you said it was around $5,000 worth of repairs. Is that correct? Is that okay? Perfect. Yeah, well, we do actually buy properties as is, so you don't have to pay that. We just want to make sure we have the right amount.
Beautiful house on the block. We buy them in an as-is condition, and we don't ask our sellers to do any work or repairs at all. After we buy your house, we will be the ones that will pay for all of the repairs or updates.
Okay.
Now, Rashawn, there are a lot of factors and reasons which make a difference on how much time we have and how much money we will need when we buy the house. For example, are there any serious damages? Is there something wrong with the house? Are there any court orders or deadlines we need to meet? Is the house too small, or are there any neighborhood problems, and many, many others? So can you now see how important it is for us to know your reason for selling? And as a home buyer, you'd want to know too, right?
Correct.
So again, that's when
Rashawn,
you ask them, why are you selling? I usually just do it shorter like that. I ask, well, what sounds like a pretty nice house? Again, it only needs 5,000 repairs. Again, is there any issues with the house, or then is the neighborhood okay? Why are you selling? I always throw that second question: is the neighborhood okay? Because I know they're gonna ask, like, oh, the neighborhood is great. They're trying to sell you their house, but they'll tell you why. This lady kind of told it a little bit longer. Again, we want to make sure that you are fair and honest with us. Again, we want to make sure that we know the area. Again, nobody knows the area better than you. So if there's any issues with the area, then we might have to be on the lookout for. We're counting on you to be as fair as honest to let us know right now, so we don't have to buy a property and then come out with a surprise that there's a murder every week in the area, et cetera, et cetera. She kind of, so that's why it's so important for us to know why you're selling. And again, she puts it back on her, like, you would like to know also, if we're going to buy into a neighborhood, what type of neighborhood you're buying into, right? That's right. Okay. So then that's where she asked, okay, so why are you selling?
What is causing you to want to sell this property?
Because we want to move back to our hometown.
You want to move back to your hometown? We can certainly help you with that. And what have you done so far to try and sell your house?
Well, just been calling around and see if anybody will buy it.
Okay.
Okay. So what have you done? Well, I just called around. Again, she hasn't listed with an agent, which is good.
And do you have to sell this house in order to buy the next one?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, then we are the perfect buyer for you, because we're not looking for a house to live in. We can buy your house and close on the date of your choice. And when would you say is as soon as you would be able to sell your house and close escrow by?
Again,
soon as
time frame.
possible.
As soon as possible?
Yes.
So you would be able to close escrow in the next 20 to 30 days?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Perfect. So what is going to happen if it doesn't sell?
Again,
Meaning,
this
what are you
question's
going to
great.
do with the house?
Like, what are you going to do if it doesn't sell within the 30 days or your time frame that you want?
And how is that going to affect your plans to sell
And
it?
how is this going to affect the plans to sell it? You want to make sure that you know, okay, if it does sell, perfect, but what if it doesn't? How does that affect your plans?
Well, I guess we'll stay in it until we can.
Have you considered simply renting or leasing it?
Yeah, but I really don't
Okay,
want
you're trying to push
I have-
into, okay, so perfect. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't sell. Have you planned to lease it or rent it out? Again, that kind of, you want to push them towards it so they can give you a rebuttal. Actually, no, I don't want to lease it. So you're kind of funneling down to you just selling it. You're eliminating the legs. Rent it, list it, lease it. No, I want to sell it.
I don't want the headache into it.
Yeah, I completely understand. I don't think I would want the headache either. It looks like when you spoke to Alex, you said that valued as is, the house is worth $30,000 and $80,000 in perfect condition. Does that sound right?
Yes.
And Rashawn, are you aware of how expensive it is and
Okay,
all of the
this is where
costs
you ask the
involved?
seller, okay, oh, so what would it be worth in the full remodel price? 80. Okay, perfect. So, but as is, what it's worth. This lady went out with the 30, which is great. But if they would have said, oh, it's worth 80. Oh, but you're telling me that it's worth 80 fully rehab, and you're telling me that it needs probably 5 to 10K in repairs. So if it's worth 80 fully rehab, again, doing my math here real quick, then it's worth 70 as is, 75 as is. Okay, perfect. That's how you make sure that you're getting numbers from them. Again, then on this cause, like, she went to 80 to all the way to 30, which is great. But if she would have gone, kept an 80, so what do you think this house is worth, fully repaired, make it a 10 condition? Oh, 80. Okay, perfect. So yours being a 5 condition, how much would it take to take that 5 into a 10 as far as numbers and as far as repairs? We're like, I don't know. Oh, it's between, again, she gave you a 5. Is it between 5 to 10,000, 10 to 15, or 15K and up? You say, well, I'm thinking probably 12. Okay, so $12,000. So based on that, your property as is worth 68. Is that correct? You got a number for them.
to selling a house like yours to a traditional buyer, including the costs of real estate broker commissions, monthly mortgage payments while it sells, several months of holding costs, and that's not even including all of the buyer's lender requirements like repair costs, pest inspection, roof certification, and on and on. In order to sell your house, it could cost you, the seller, 10 to 20% of the sales price. So let me ask you, Rashawn, about how much would you say it would cost you to sell your house to a
So
traditional
this is
buyer?
where you tell them, okay, perfect. So if it was worth 68 right now, do you know more or less how much it'll cost you to sell it if you were not to sell it to an investor? As far as with all the inspection reports, the appraisals, the what's it called, the commissions, the closing costs, the time frame to sell. Again, the roof recertification to make sure there's no claims on the roof, et cetera, et cetera. Again, it's all crazy numbers as far as that come out when you actually are gonna go to the closing table. So based on your knowledge, what do you think it's gonna be worth to what do you think it's gonna cost you to sell it? And if they don't know, I don't know. Let me see this call.
I really couldn't tell you.
So
'cause I
again,
don't know
she
about
doesn't really know. Again, but the agent took through saying, oh, actually, it's from $10,000 to $20,000, 10 to 20% of the sales price. Again, from appraisals, inspections, repairs, time frame, closing costs, title report, what's it called, commissions, etc. So 10 to 20. Okay, so if it's 20, and then you just do the quick math.
Oh, man.
Don't worry, most home sellers don't
And
discover how much
when
it
she
really
says, oh, I don't really know. Okay, don't worry. Most home sellers don't know. They just think they're gonna sell it for 68 and make 68, but more or less on the average.
cost to sell, not until they're finally presented with a seller's closing costs. And sometimes months after they've been trying to sell, do they discover that it could cost 10 to 20% of the sales price just to sell their house. So I'll tell you what, well, how about if we just do the industry average of 10 to 20% of the sales price?
Okay.
Okay, and it looks like there's no mortgage on the house that we
So
would need to
again,
pay off?
yeah, most sellers are understandable. Most sellers don't know how much it's gonna actually cost to sell it. They actually go into contract for 68,000, and they only find out how much they're actually losing at the closing table when they're actually presented with the closing docs at the closing date. And usually, so just to be fair, it's 10, 20. Let's go on the higher end so you won't be surprised. So can we do 20% of closing costs? Yes. And then you just basically subtract it. 68 times 0.80, that'll give you the 20% discount.
Correct.
Great. So, Rashawn, let me tell you a little bit about what we do. We buy houses like yours all the time, and we pay all of the costs. Things like real estate commissions, title insurance, escrow fees, transfer tax, termite clearance, roof certification, and the list goes on and on. And we buy them in an as-is condition, so we are going to assume the responsibility for all of the needed repairs, whether we have seen them already or not. And one of the positive factors about selling us your house is that you or whoever is living in it can stay in it for as long as you need to, and we can get you your money on the date of your choice. We will pay cash when we buy your house, so you can have the peace of mind knowing it's sold. Not only sold, but sold to someone who can afford to buy it, because we don't have to rely on a bank to qualify your house, nor do we need to beg them for a loan and risk them changing their mind at the last minute. Believe me, there's nothing more frustrating than seeing a deal break down in escrow, and that is not going to happen to you. Isn't that really what you want?
So again, she broke it down. Okay, don't worry, ma'am. Yeah, definitely. We usually pay all cash. We pay for all the closing costs and everything. So there's no closing costs, fees out of pocket. But you already mentioned how much more or less I'm gonna have to get a discount as a buyer. And again, we are actually cash buyers. We actually buy cash from these properties. We don't need a lender to approve us on a loan. And the last thing that you want is at the closing table, telling the buyer, telling you, actually, my funding went away and we can close on this deal. Isn't that really what you want? Sell it to somebody that actually can pay for what they can buy it for, and then you put it back on them. Oh yeah, definitely. I want to make sure that you guys can buy it.
Yes, most definitely. So what were you hoping to sell your house for, Rashawn? The net amount that you would receive to put in your pocket after all of the repair and update costs have been considered and after all of your seller's closing costs have been subtracted, what we call the walkaway money.
So you see, now she reiterates everything from as-is value minus the closing costs and closing costs and cost to sell, etc. The repairs, etc. And the time frame. She asked them, "What do you think you want to sell it for? What will be considered your walkaway money?" Since there's no mortgage.
Money are you hoping to walk away with?
At least 30.
At least 30,000. Okay.
Yeah.
And since we are paying all of your closing costs to sell it,
she automatically went to 30, which is crazy, which is good, right? But I always have a habit of asking, okay, perfect. Well, based on what I'm telling you, we are buying it as is. We are paying for other closing costs. We are buying it at your time frame. And then look what she tells you.
Is that the lease that you'll take?
She asked him, okay, well, based on this, we're gonna buy cash. Is that the lease that you'll take?
28.5.
28.5.
Automatically, she went down to 28.5. And then guess what? It's a technique. It's a structure of calling, and you ask for another discount.
And knowing that we are going to buy your house now and take all your worry and stress away along with holding costs waiting for your house to sell, can you help us by lowering your price a little bit more?
How much more?
How much more? Well, Rashawn, would you consider 25,000?
Yes.
Yes, you would.
You see? Well, how much more? Well, she already dropped 2.5, 1.5. Let's go for another 2.5 or 5. She asked for 25. She says yes.
So you are saying that at 25,000, you are committed to selling your property today? Yes.
Right now.
Right now. All right. So if I can get an approval for the purchase price of $25,000, you are ready to sell your house to us today, correct?
And that's, again, you never jump at the gun when they give you a good price or a great price. You always say, okay, perfect. Well, if I can get an approval at the 25K, are you ready to sell your house to us now?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Well, Rashawn, we are ready to move forward and buy your house. So the email where I can send you your purchase agreement is at yahoo.com.
And then when you say yes, then if you're working by yourself, you're like, okay, perfect. And then, okay, definitely let me set up the agreement. What is your current email, etc.
Is this correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Great. Perfect. So I'll send you the purchase contract shortly. So if you could go ahead and get it signed and either email or fax it back to us, and we can open escrow right away. So you do have access to a fax or a printer?
Yes, I'll email it.
You can email it back? Perfect. So when do you think I can expect it back?
In about 5-10 minutes.
In about 5-10 minutes after I send it?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Okay. So congratulations on selling your house. I'll contact you shortly after I send you the purchase agreement.
So then you ask, okay, perfect. Well, once I send it to you, again, I would definitely ask, okay, let me send it to you right now. It's 12 p.m. I'm gonna give you maybe an hour to review it, and then let's set up a call for 2:30 in case you have any questions. How does that sound? And then you say yes. This one she said right away. That will set up for 30 minutes. Okay, perfect. It's a one-page contract. It's simple. It basically explains what we just spoke on as far as how we're gonna buy it as is, etc. Let me see. Can I call you back in about 45 minutes once you receive it? And then she said yes.
Just to make sure you received it and to verify that you're able to send it back to us right away, okay?
Is this a guaranteed walk away with 25,000?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That'll be your walkaway price, and that's why we're sending you the purchase agreement to let you know that we are committed to buying your house.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay?
Well,
All right. So I'll send it to you in just a few minutes, and then as soon as you can, print it out, sign it, scan it, and send it back, okay?
There we go.
All right. Thank you very much, Rashawn. You have a good night, okay? I'll talk to you in a few minutes.
So basically, that's
I would have taken a step forward. I would actually sign the shit on the spot with them.
yeah. If she definitely had a RJ Bates actually says, well, actually, do you have a smartphone? What kind of phone you have, sir? I have an iPhone. Okay, perfect. Well, do you have an email set up on your iPhone? Yeah, yes, definitely I do. Okay, so what's your email? And then you ask for the email, and then what you do is you send it to them. Okay, perfect. Well, you send the line. Again, that's why you have to have all your contracts already lined up and everything. And then you set it up. Okay, perfect. Did you see? What you can also do is record a video on YouTube as far as with the screencast showing how the contract is and how you're going to explain a sample contract so that they know in case you have any issues. Well, look at this video while I prepare the contract. Let me put you on a quick mute. And then you send them the link to a text and they can watch the video. So they already know what they're going to be looking at once you send them the email so they can sign it.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Did you get it? Perfect. Okay, open it, whatever. Click. Okay, sign. Perfect. Well, mister, thank you for actually signing the agreement. Let me send it to my underwriter so we can start with as far as the process of sending the professionals over there to do the last inspection. We can get this property escrowed and ready to get purchased. You see, and that's the way that you do it. Again, this is pretty much gold as far as how you can actually break down a call as far as what would you do in a call. Because it tells you everything. Again, it gives you from we're buying it as is, you're asking for a discount twice. You're telling him, well, based on your numbers, this is how much it's worth. This is how much it's gonna cost as is. The cost of selling. Most people don't tell clients the cost of selling, and that's a key. The cost of selling might be a big issue that they think if they sell it for 68, they're gonna get 68, and it's not.
Yeah.
But there you go. That's if you're wondering how to do a virtual one. That's pretty much a simple one. How to do a virtual one, and it actually breaks down everything else aside from the virtual.
And is that from JB Bates or?
No, this is not RJ Bates.
Oh.
But RJ Bates has again kind of the same thing, technique. The tonality is good. What I learned about JV is that one that I told you about the Zillow. How to send him an email, send him a picture, a video, a link, so they can see the video before you send the email. And while you're in there, you're actually sending email and then having to go through it. So you actually lock it up right there and then. All right, Mr. Mag, go ahead and do that. Get that property locked up, man. The one that you have, and get it closed. Take it to closing. Again, sometimes that's the hardest part to actually fulfill it and take it all the way to the closing part of it. But yeah, again, do you have any other questions before we wrap up today?
No, brother. Thank you.
All right, my man. Again, I don't want to hear that the contract is still in limbo, and I'll get back to you. You sound like Jen Psaki saying, "I'll get back to you." Let's lock it up and get money, man. That's the only way that you can make money is actually taking the closing and getting your check.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Stay safe. Have a happy Friday, man.
You too. Bye.
Bye.